There's a short clip I want you guys to listen to. Listen to this clip carefully. It's about a minute long, and then I want you guys to start typing and tell us what you think about what you're gonna hear. So just give me one moment. I'm gonna get this going here. Here we go.
And so on. But something amazing happened just about, goodness, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. The First Lady of Kenya flew from Nairobi with her team, just for one reason, to ask me to come back to Nairobi for a nationwide, government-sponsored crusade. Now, we haven't had that in a long time, where the First Lady of a nation comes and says, we want to hold a crusade sponsored and supported by the government. The only time I think we've ever had that was in, where was that, Marie? Indonesia somewhere. Papua. And then same time came with her Robert Ganja from Uganda, and they want to do 2 crusades in each country. So I said, okay, Lord, you still have a little more for me.
All right. Okay. So you heard that.
How they play. That the mere fact that he provided. It's like, instead of having
the only time. So I said, okay, Lord, you still have a little more for me.
Okay. All right. I think. Yeah. Sorry about that. But you guys heard the clip. What do you guys think? That was Pastor Benny Hinn acknowledging or saying that the Kenyan First Lady a couple of weeks ago traveled to the United States with her team, specifically to invite him for a crusade in different parts of Kenya. You know, like, because he said across the country, and this, of course, was before, because remember last week the president and his entourage were here. So it seems like the First Lady came before that with her team. And this is just, this was quite shocking and very surprising to me. I don't think Benny Hinn was supposed to say this in public, but he did. And the information is out there. And I can see Slay here is saying this should have been communicated via email or calls. What was the purpose of flying across the country? I think the First Lady owes Kenyans an explanation, because we're in a situation where there's an issue with cash flow, with revenues, countries in a lot of debt. So I think we are owed an explanation. And then Amina Holmes says, that's interesting, especially that Kenya is a multi-religion country. I did not even want to, that's something that I did not even want to talk about. I did not want to mention that. But this is quite shocking. Almost fire. Is there something that I'm missing?
Yeah, you're missing a lot of things.
Tell me what I'm missing.
E-government, see mama yako na baba yako. Period. They do what they want, how they do it, and what they want to do when they want to do it. And they didn't start yesterday. This stuff started when this guy was in UK's government as a deputy president. Remember the whole travel saga with the planes? When he was leasing a plane and UK's plane had been purchased.
Yes.
And everybody was up in arms about the plane.
Or the Hustler jets.
And they kept going on and kept doing what they needed to do. But when you go back even now and you look at the amount of money that has been spent in this government for travel-related things, per diem, so on and so forth, that amount of money is staggering. Can somebody really justify that amount of money being spent on travel and other types of things?
Well, Pablo seems to disagree with you, and he says, I thought Benny Hinn was acknowledging an invite by the First Lady.
Nothing.
too much reading. No, let's listen to what Pablo has to say. Remember, Pablo just met the president last week. And you need to tell us.
Was he given a brown envelope?
I don't know about that, Pablo. You need to tell us. But Pablo says, I thought Ben HINN was acknowledging an invite.
No, what thought him? See, the guy already said.
Wait a second. Let's listen to what Pablo is saying.
My bad.
I thought Ben HINN was acknowledging an invite by the First Lady. Too much reading into this, in my opinion. Unless we hear otherwise, what was the number of her team or entourage? Okay, so Pablo here.
Wow.
Let's just go by. I don't know whether we should replay it again.
Let's replay it.
Let's replay it again, so that we can get like exactly what was said, so that we see if there's an issue. There's no issue with inviting Pastor Ben HINN. That's not an issue at all. And I think also even here Slay has mentioned that this could have been communicated via email or calls. But let's just go back and listen to this again, so that we make sure that we are getting the right message. And if there's anything we are missing, feel free to drop comments and let us know, because this is quite shocking to me. Let's go ahead.
But something amazing happened just about, goodness, maybe 4 weeks ago or so. The First Lady of Kenya flew from Nairobi with her team.
Pause.
Just for one reason.
Okay, so the First Lady
4 weeks ago, from 4 weeks ago, from this, whatever this.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, from whenever this was recorded, she flew in with her team. So let's be on the, on the I don't even know that to say devil's advocate, but let's be on the conservative side. Let's say she had a team of 2 people. Let's just assume it was a team of 2 people. So 3 people flew just to send an invite.
Send an invite.
No,
to
not
talk.
to send.
No, they
Yeah.
came to
deliver
personal invite.
To deliver a personal invite. Let's continue.
Yes.
Asked me to come back to Nairobi for a nationwide, government-sponsored crusade.
Okay. Nationwide,
government-sponsored
crusade.
Yeah.
So this is Ben HINN
sponsored.
So okay, yeah. So there's a team.
Yes.
So let's assume it's a small team, 2 people. 2. And with First Lady, and then with their per diems, and then for government-sponsored, specifically government-sponsored crusades. But let's continue listening again to what was said.
Now, we haven't had that in a long time, where the First Lady of our nation comes and says, we want to hold a crusade sponsored and supported by the government.
Okay, we want to hold a crusade sponsored and supported by the government. This is Ben HINN speaking. This is not Ali Badawi. This is not Mika Och. This is not OneMic. This is not DJ Moshfa. This is Ben HINN speaking. Sponsored by the government. Crusades. Okay, let's continue.
The only time I think we've ever had that was in, where was that, Marie? Indonesia somewhere. Papua. And then same time came with her Robert Ganja from Uganda, and they want to do 2 crusades in each country. So I said, okay, Lord, you still have a little more for me.
All right, that was it. So a couple of things I picked up. What was said, so that we see. No, sorry, that was me. Government sponsored. First of all, there was traveling with her team, money, and here we generally know how these government teams travel. We know definitely it was not a team of 2 people, but we're just being on the conservative side.
So far, they've spent 20 billion Kenya shillings on travel so far.
So there's that. There's a travel, including like per diem of the people who've traveled.
Can Pablo call it?
And then and then you see there's these things are government. These crusades are government sponsored, and not only are they government sponsored, they're going to be nationwide. So nationwide, I'm assuming it's going to be in a couple of counties. So let's assume
cities at the minimum. We have 4 cities in Kenya.
So let's say
it's
4 or
gonna
5
be,
cities.
it should be in all 4.
Yes.
Let's assume.
Let's say 4 or 5 cities. And yes, we don't want to politicize this, but this right here is very problematic, you know. And I just love to know.
Na unga ni pesa ngapi?
I just love to know, you know, like what the reasoning is behind this. And the other fact that I'm glad I'm not the one who's mentioning this, because mi wanaambiwa mara nyingi na watetea Waislamu sana. But Kenya is, there's not only Muslims, there's people who profess other religions, and there's also, you know, like people who practice traditional religion. And we're talking over 30% of the country. And here we have the government at a time when there's issues with spending, there's issues with debt, that this is happening. I think we have a big problem.
These guys are acting like we don't have debt, and that the shilling is not getting weaker against the dollar, and they are spending it faster than the exchange rate.
Wow. You know, like and that's why, I mean, to me, you know, like I'd love to hear from Pablo what exactly it is that we're missing, because I think
maybe Pablo has reheard. Did he send a comment? And we should not make. Maybe I'm picking on him, but I heard. Oh, sorry.
No, but I'm trying to think, Mick. I'm trying to think
but
from
this should
an
not,
UDA perspective.
This should not even be an UDA thing. It's very simple. The guy who was the person they came to see said they came to see me. They flew. They asked me to come, and they said that it's sponsored.
Stop trying to define it's quite clear, and there's 2 options: the people who will be happy with the invite that was sent out, and the people who will look at it and say the government is wasting money. So those who are still happy are happy about it. They feel like the country needs prayers, and how the first lady contributes to helping her husband run the country is by getting prayers. You have to.
But do you have to jump in a plane and come in here at a cost of a minimum?
Forget even jumping in a plane. Even
$20,000 per person.
Let's say you sent an email to one of the most expensive pastors in the world, and you tell them you want to bring them to the country to sponsor a crusade. So when you bring them to the country, he's not coming alone. He travels with a team that he works with.
Yes.
Right? So you're going to pay for that team.
Correct.
And for every crusade you're going to be paying for it. So basically, what are you bringing that pastor to do? To pray for the economy, to pray for the price of fuel? Or do what? Or to turn every Kenyan from being a sinner? And it doesn't make sense at all.
They are praying for spiritual well-being of people in the country.
What about Muslims?
Wealth. No, they're praying for everybody. When you pray for you don't. You know, even a Muslim, what do they call the sheikh? When the sheikh is praying, he's not praying. When they do a prayer for the country, it's for the country. It doesn't matter about religion.
Yes, we do. The only thing, the only thing that maybe we don't have the capacity to do is to get, you know, like Mufti Menk and his entourage to come to Kenya on the government's dime. And you know, I wish maybe a Muslim would have done this, and I wonder if Pablo would be having the same. If we had a Muslim president, gathered Mufti Menk, Sheikh Yasir Qadhi, with an entourage of like 20 people, sent, you know, like someone to wherever they are, invite them, and then bring them back. I wonder whether Pablo would have this same
you would be up in arms
that he has right now. And this is where sometimes I tell people in Kenya, we have to make a decision, you know, like whether we are a multi-demographic country, whether we are a multi-religious country, or whether we are a Christian country. We have to make a decision. And even as Christians in Kenya, I think you also at a personal level have to make a decision whether you want to also acknowledge that this is a country that has a significant non-Christian population.